brother and that queen he beats and mistreats. And heaven creates strength for my people in time when they're feeling weak. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us. When I'm wrong and when I'm right. Heaven help the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to make this record. And heaven help those that need this lesson to listen and perfect it and check it. Help them all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us. Heaven help us all. Heaven help our babies. Help us. Men, be strong for your ladies. Help us all. Heaven help us. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us. Heaven help us all. Dun, 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 dun. Heaven help us understand when you take your soldiers home. Heaven help us understand that nothing lasts forever. Heaven help us see on this planet we got to live together. On this planet we got to love together. Heaven help us through the stormy weather. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us. Heaven help us. One step away from wars. Bombs bursting in the air. Does anybody care? It's a modern day battle. Are you gonna watch it go? Heaven help us. Heaven help us. Heaven help us. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all. For our babies, for the future. Heaven help us all.
Of a nation kneeling down before its record, and God saying, and you will be requited for what you did. In the Bible, it talks about a time of betrayal. And I mentioned in last week's broadcast all the betrayals of the so-called friends of America, assassinating their friends. And there was one that I missed, maybe a couple, but I was in the former African nation of Zaire on my African tour. And the president of Zaire, Mr. Joseph Mobutu, came to the airport to meet our delegation, and our chartered jet was late, but he waited a long time. And when we finally arrived, they whisked us away to his palatial retreat. And there he had a great evening for us, and then he took me away in a private room. And he said to me in a very sad tone, he said, Brother Farrakhan, I did everything for America, and they won't even talked to me, they kicked me to the curb. What could I say to my poor, deceived brother? And what can I say to you, my beloved brothers and sisters who are being enlisted now in colleges, in black colleges, to be a part of the CIA, to be a part of the FBI? These wicked elements that have done so much harm to the rise of black people and others in America. Have not you betrayed those who became your snitches, became your informers? Why, America, would you contract the mafia, known gangsters, to kill President Castro? What was the quid pro quo? What did you give the mafia in exchange for the mafia's willingness to assassinate a head of government for you? And you don't want me to invite to a table of unity gang members in Chicago? You lied and said Farrakhan wants them to be used to protect whatever we purchase. That is false. We are very well able to do that ourselves. No, they are our family. And we wanted to invite them to the table to give them a role to play in the rise of our people. Well, Salvatore Giancana, the chieftain of Cosa Nostra, the mafia, and the successor to Al Capone, well, he met with some of his colleagues at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach. Giancana suggested that rather than try to shoot or blow up Mr. Castro, some type of potent pill that could be placed in Castro's food or drink would be much more effective. He said a corrupt Cuban official named Juan Orta, who was in debt to the syndicate and had access to the Cuban leader, would carry out the poisoning. The CIA subsequently obtained and supplied 6 pills of high lethal content to Orta, but after several weeks of abortive attempts, Orta demanded out of the operation. Are these kinds of wicked acts still being perpetrated by the FBI now? Because the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover in the Church Commission hearings, they brought home every wicked trick that they used to destabilize nations and put nations at odds with each other and people within nations at odds with each other. They brought those tricks home to America to use it among black organizations that were struggling to better the quality of life of black people in America. Well, you know, this Cuban official owed something to the syndicate. You that are listening to this broadcast, what do you owe? You that want to shorten your prison time for evil acts that you do, you would go to court and lie for those in authority to put your brother, under the table or in a jail cell, remember how he treats his friends. I feel sorry for you, snitches. I feel sorry for you that would do the bidding of your enemy and mine. But I warned you last week, what you planned for us, you've already planned it for yourself. All of this happened during the Kennedy administration. Additional proof of this is a book published in 2013 by journalist Bill Dean called Smooth Criminal. In it, he claimed that former President John F. Kennedy endorsed freeing rapists, drug dealers, and mafia hitmen from prison so they could attempt to murder communist leader Fidel Castro. He further says JFK didn't explicitly order the program, but was aware of the operation that allowed an ex-con to pretend to be a waiter at Castro's favorite restaurant in Cuba in order to slip the communist leader poison tablets. To my believing and beloved believers, be careful of where you eat. Be careful, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to me. He said, brother, be careful of who feeds you, because they will poison you. Well, if that's for me, that's for you that believe and want to help me in this great mission of the resurrection of our people. So don't eat out so much and make it regular so that a waiter can be slipped in to poison you and then vanish. Be wise and protect the life that Almighty God, Allah, has given us. America, those whom you were persecuting and prosecuting, the mafia, you would go to them and ask them to kill Castro. And the quid pro quo was something in return for what they did. Can we trust you? Can we say now, with the bombing in Boston, that you are telling the truth? We have many questions to ask you. And in the future broadcast, we're studying all that is being said. And we have many questions to ask. But we already know that you have created many lying wonders. Is this another one? What would make you close down a whole city? Even close airspace and put 9,000 soldiers of various organizations of security into Watertown? What made you act like that? Well, these are some questions, because you certainly had a deeper motive. Were some of your contractors present? Did they have backpacks on? We'll be back at that one. But I'm saying to the American public, you are always duped. They lie, and then they probe you with polls to see how many of you were caught up in the lie. You know, it's a terrible thing. I don't care what your political aspirations are.